by focusing their work through research, education, outreach, and advocacy. Their vision is to stop cancer before it starts. You can find out more information about PCF at preventcancer.org. Definitely love supporting such great causes here with GDQ. We had a $50 donation come in from Josie, who just says, woo! And, I love a good onomatopoeia. It's late night for me. If you got onomatopoeias that you want to send them on in. Let's get some interesting word sounds to keep us awake. It is 3:15 or so where I am, so I could use all those energetic onomatopoeias from you, chat. One more donation here for Dust. $50 from Wild Trico 297 that says, I remember playing Dust and Elysian Tale when it came out on Xbox Arcade, and I've been meaning to play through it again, but haven't found the time. Thank you, Aggie, for playing through it in an expedited time for a good cause, so I don't have to. See, we're out here doing favors for people who don't have the time, beating things in 30 minutes. You're welcome, and thank you so much for that donation. And I have got word that we are ready for our next run, so take it away with Axe Battler, a legend of Golden Axe.
All right. I'm pro onomatopoeia as well, for the record. Hey, everybody. My name is Sharif. You might know me as Sharpers in chat. I have officially escaped the alpha block. Here we are on Monday. I'm very excited about this. This is Axe Battler, a legend of Golden Axe for the Sega Game Gear. I've hung on. All right.
That was weird.
Do it again.
Okay, we're gonna try it again. Okay, we're good now. Great. Don't know why that was weird. Anyway, we're good. Go ahead.
All right. Hey, everybody. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. My name is Sharif. You might know me as Sharpers. I have escaped the awful block. Here we are on a Monday. I'm very excited about this. This is Axe Battler, a legend of Golden Axe, on the Sega Game Gear. Long live the Game Gear. This is by far the most difficult game I've ever run at a GDQ, or in fact any marathon ever. So to help with commentary, I have my friend and fellow runner. I have jquestionmark. How you doing, Jay?
I am doing excellent. I'm really excited to hang out and talk about this game and watch you play through it instead of being stressed out playing through it myself. So
This is gonna be real. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Just one thing off the jump. This has a good amount of flashing lights in it. Every single random encounter has a small set of flashing lights. So if you're very sensitive to that, I would suggest maybe this is not the run for you. Also, when we use magic, there's a huge amount of flashing lights, and I will warn when that happens, so every human being should look away from that part. This is, I'll explain why this is called a Legend of Golden Axe when we run it, but we'll just kind of get started, and we'll chit chat as it goes. If that's good with everybody, all right. So yeah, so time starts when I hit new game here. So we'll just count down and get started here. 3, 2, 1, go. And yeah, it's a cutscene immediately.
yeah, I love that it starts with not just a cutscene, but pitch black, people shouting in confusion.
I'm mashing.
Yeah, there is a fair amount of mashing in this game, but you can just hold down one button on the Game Gear, which only has 3 buttons, or 1, 2, and start. Hold down one and slam your finger on the other just to progress through text as quickly as possible. So it keeps it scrolling fast and lets you move through fast. So as you can see, we're playing a very Dragon Quest-y game until the fights happen. And then it's almost reminiscent of Zelda 2 for a second, except it's more fighting game style. The fights are the biggest source of randomness in this. So enemy behavior is always the exact same if you do the exact same thing. And that's true for the levels that we're going to see in a few, or the dungeons, and the random encounters. But when I say the exact same if you do the exact same, we're talking down to the pixel, down to the frame. So sometimes
I'm not that talented, trust me.
They do whatever they want, but you can generally get pretty consistent results, which is nice. So, as you can see, we have individual fights and we have dungeons. In the dungeons, there's usually either a treasure chest you need to get to, or you just need to get to the other side. There's not a whole lot of attack options. We've got Axe Battler, who's using his sword. That's right, it's a sword.
It's a sword.
For Axe Battler. I don't know what to say to that. I've got nothing.
We apologize, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of NPCs in this game that give you all sorts of handy information on where to go and what to do. We won't be talking to any of them, which is very sad because one of them is a chicken leg. So for any of you familiar with your Golden Axe lore, chicken legs are one of the ridiculous mounts you can ride on. I see someone in chat mentioning that the music is excellent, and it is
That is
so
correct.
good.
It's very, very good, especially for the Game Gear. It's very good.
It's
His
worth
name is
mentioning.
Axe.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was gonna say his name is Axe, but his name is Axe Battler. He's battling axes.
And it's
That's all I've got
AX.
for
It's not AXE. So
Correct.
yeah. One important thing to mention with the encounters is if you win the fight, you come out of the fight, you get 2 text boxes. One telling you that you won, and one telling you how many magic faces you got, which are both your magic power and your currency. So there is a small amount of balancing that, hopefully not too much, but there are a couple places where it's very, very helpful to have magic. So bridges always have an encounter. It is forced, it happens every time. So if you have extra health and you can afford to take a hit, you lose the fight and instantly come out of the fight as soon as you're hit. So we're in our first town. This is Firewood. I forget what it's called, town or village?
Village.
But it is associated with Firewood Castle. Yeah, so for whatever reason, this town that you have to go over a bridge and then to another bridge and then destroy a mountain with a bomb is the village.
It's the size of you, like, yeah, but Axe is the same size of the mountain as well. It's a very large bomb, and Axe is a very large man.
So Sharif just got the first power, which you get from the training hall here. It lets you do the high jump, which is, I want to say it's the most important one in the game, but they're all really kind of the most important one in the game. You can jump so satisfyingly high.
Just there. And just jump off screen completely. Yeah, that's one of the absolutely required ones anytime. I'm too low level to fight skeletons. Fighting skeletons at this level is not worth my time. So I just don't even bother. That's why I'm taking hits on them.
This game typically gets run 100%, especially for marathons, because it forces you to go collect everything. And there are a lot of things that you could save time by not getting, but make the game miserable to run. So 100% is absolutely the way to play.
Yep. We're 100% truthers for sure.
Oh, yeah.
The 90% runs about 2 minutes faster, just about. You save about 2 minutes.
It really doesn't save that much time for an incredible amount of risk. So if somehow someone out there, I really hope so, is convinced to start playing this game, please run 100%. Make it nice for yourself. All right, so we're getting on to the second town here of Turtle Village. This is the village with the talking axe beak that we're not even going to see on the screen.
Yeah, you can see him there on the right hand side. You just saw him for a second there.
But here we need to go get an attack that actually does extra damage because we're going to come up against some enemies. So Axe Battler has 3 health. Normal attacks do a half bar of damage. But these techniques that you learn in these training halls do a full bar of damage. So there are a few enemies that have full bars of health in the dungeons, and having an extra way to attack them and do more damage is real important.
Yes. I wanted to give a quick shout out to our trainer in those training halls. He's very mean. I should have healed. I just realized I should definitely heal. He's at every single training ground. I in my headcanon is that's the same guy for everyone. So he's just beating us there every single time. And if you so at the beginning he asks you like, "Yo, do you want to fight this guy to get an ability?" And you go yes or no. If you say no, he calls you a wimp. And then if you say yes and you lose, then he calls you a worthless chump. So he's definitely of the like tough love. He's definitely a tough love kind of guy. And it's worthless chump, like that's verbatim what he calls you. I am not making any part of that up.
It's so good. Just no respect. So we've
That's
got
my single favorite thing to do in the whole game right there. Is just walk up to a barbarian, one-shot him, and then walk away. Very businesslike. All right.
Yeah, so we've got the second attack. We've got a place to go, which is this tower out on the peninsula, and it is complete with statues that come to life, and ghosts, and hedgehogs, which
I'm
are
sorry.
equally threatening.
I'm so sorry for the sounds you're hearing right now.
Oh yeah, the
Things are
terrible screeching noise
very
they
bad.
make.
Yeah, I call them banshees.
So you have to defeat at least a couple of them to get that elevator to spawn. Theoretically, you could defeat more of them, but it takes longer, so it's easier to just kind of jump in the corner till you get it to trigger. So here we need to collect a crystal. I don't remember that the game even makes it clear why you need the crystal, but we know we need the crystal. Nope. These little jumping guys are the absolute worst. You gotta try to either get past them and take some damage. Honestly, taking damage in this area isn't necessarily the worst thing, because you warp back to the last town you were in when you lose all your health. So as long as you get what you need, you can get back to town real fast by having a very small amount of health and getting lucky. Every once in a while, you can walk all the way back to town without an encounter, which is
very unlucky, like what's happening right now. I'm just going to start. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I've actually routed this death warp into the run. So when I'm doing PB attempts, I wouldn't have. What would have happened is I wouldn't have healed there. I was actually starting to do PB attempt strats, and I realized, wait, no, I don't actually want to die here. So I would have just gone over and just trusted myself not to take free hits in that dungeon, which would have happened as it turns out, but that's neither here nor there.
So now that we have the crystal, we're gonna huck the crystal into the sea, and
naturally
that makes this
a giant
turtle excited and show up, I guess. And it turns out the exact amount of time it takes Axe Battler to run across this turtle, no matter how slow or fast that is the amount of time it takes to get to the new continent that we're going to. So, very helpful stuff. The enemies here are really weird. I don't know why there are dragons. I think this is even the only part of the game with dragons.
Yep, and you can one-shot the dragons. Also, that dragon has never spawned there ever. And I've done hundreds of runs of this game.
Yeah, pausing in certain spots makes spawns get real weird in some places. So this is the town of Sand Marrow, and it borders on the Desert of Death. It's got a training hall for a skill that honestly isn't super useful, but because it's 100%, we got to get it. And
get it anyway.
There are a couple spots where it does come in really handy.
I use it against the Death Adder.
Yeah.
Death Adder's plural, yes, you heard that right, by the way.
Hitbox on that upper swing that we have right now is just real awkward and doesn't make any sense. Later on, we'll be getting the super swing, which is like a not awful version of it. So, looking forward to that.
Oh yeah, it's rough. We're actually on our way to get super swing right now. This is the area with the highest concentration of spawns in the whole game.
Yep.
Neo Amazons.
There's an NPC somewhere that refers to this as the Desert of Death, and this is the place where you're gonna see all the encounters, I say, and then you walk along.
That was really good RNG. Holy crap. That was one encounter. I've gotten 9 encounters there before.
Yeah, you can get an encounter almost every step. That's some beautiful RNG right there.
I had a PB where I got an encounter on 7 consecutive steps and still PB'd.
So for whatever reason, there are enemies on the other side of that pyramid that are only there, but you don't have to go there. In fact, you need to go get the key or you can't get into the next dungeon.
Oh, and that area is horrendous. It's one of the worst areas in the whole game.
So, more training, this time for the power swing, which is where the combat in the game finally gets good. It has a good hitbox. It's not horrible to execute. And here, we've seen some of the enemies prior to now. You got your animated skeletons, your Amazons, your barbarians. But now we're in the land of bad bras.
Shout out to Bad Bra. It is short for brother, so it's like bruh. I can't. I don't have enough vases. All right, we're just gonna rock and roll then. Do I take a death? I don't even know what to do here. Everything's all messed up. I'll just grind for some bases.
Just walk through the forest, get a couple. So there are enemies coming up in the next area that I'm assuming Sharif is going to use magic on because it makes it 1,000,000 times easier to get past.
Yeah, we were warned because using magic is not good on the eyes at all. And I use thunder in this area, so instead of flashing green, it flashes white. It's actually so much worse. I did change it. Okay, we're good to go.
Yeah, they were not shy
get
about the
more
flashing lights in this game.
Won't let you talk about the enemy, about the bad bra. Is Automod catching bad bra? That's pretty good. Yeah, it does. Wow, you can't say the word bra. That's good. All right, we'll call it bad bra for GDQ.
Bad bra. So this cave, definitely best to go in here with enough magic to get past a couple pink hedgehogs. They're not Amy, but I don't know. I don't know what your mileage is on liking or disliking Sonic characters. You're playing a Game Gear game, so I'm assuming you don't want to murder.
I'm familiar with at least some Sonic for sure. I definitely grew up with Sonic. Oh yeah, we can talk about how we. So both of us owned a Game Gear as kids, and both of us had this game as kids. I'm running it on my cartridge that I had as a kid, which is unfortunate because this game is really hard. It's a really hard game casually if you're like good at games, and I was a small child and was not good at games. So it was challenging for me. I never beat it. I beat it as an adult.
I did beat this as a kid. I had like a weird...
You are a stronger person.
...nostalgia for it, but the amount of time for a game that can be completed in under half an hour with doing everything...
Okay, watch out. Watch out for flashing lights. It's just so terrible.
Yeah,
it's
it
terrible.
It's
happening again for
Oh dear.
This is like purely for safety.
Yeah, this is one of the easiest places to die in the game. It is a weirdly dangerous dungeon. I think part of it just comes down to the randomness of some of where these enemies drop their attacks. Oh dear. There we go.
Luckily, the spider never respawns. This is just a hard jump and I'm nervous.
Yeah, there are a couple... Oh no.
All right, it's fine. This is one of the places where it can happen. So, my PB in this game is a 23:35. My estimate's a 35-minute time, and my sum of best is an 18:35. So RNG. Oh well, we'll just keep going. No biggie.
Yeah, a death there is not a huge deal. You're right next to it. Going back to the whole 100% versus any percent, there are parts later in the game where you can skip the last town, but if you die in any of the last 4 dungeons, you go back to the second to last town and have to do them all again. And some of them have like instant death drop-offs. We'll get to there. It'll be fun.
Since we're just retreading things we've already seen, let's pick it over for some donations.
Yeah, absolutely. You got it. We've got $10 from Chainsaw Nicorn. It says, "Hey Sharif, wait, this isn't the awful block. You must have been let out of there by accident. Anyway, what do you say if you get hit by a golden axe? Ow." And they spelled it A-U, like the elemental. Yeah. We all saw that one. We all saw that one coming. Thank you so much for that donation. And I did request onomatopoeia, and we got 1 and maybe 2. So $15 from Koba Badger. It says onomatopoeia. Blammo! I think that's a great one. I think that's a really good onomatopoeia, personally. And then we have $25 from Out of Sync Samurai, who says lemons. And I don't think Out of Sync Samurai fully understands what onomatopoeia was, if that's what they were going for. Chat, onomatopoeia is a word that sounds like it's like when you say it, like boom. Or blammo, a great example. So if you have your own favorite onomatopoeia, bring them on in. They're endorsed by the runner and commentator.
Absolutely. Lemons as well is another one.
Lemons, yes, absolutely.
My power surged just now, if anybody was confused. So what happened?
Everything.
Where am I in the dungeon? I don't even know. Oh, I'm here. More flashing lights. I apologize. Ah! I was like in a fugue state just now. I don't even understand what I was doing. All right, I'm out of flashing lights now, so this is all that can happen.
So we're getting real close to getting out of this dungeon. This is where the game kind of starts ramping up, because after this one, you have to actually make your way to the next town. So, prior to now, we're basically right there once we're done, or we go straight back to town. It's no big deal. But here you have to get to the next town. Once you enter a town, you have that as your continue point, which is wonderful. So you don't have to worry about if you die, you go way back. There's none of that. The exception being the final town in the Japanese version. If you don't go to the password hut, it doesn't care that you've been in that
doesn't save.
town. Yeah.
Yeah, very weird.
Every other town,
The
fine, but...
Yeah, the Japanese version does save time because for every encounter you get only one text box instead of two, and there's just a lot less text boxes in general.
Yeah. So the next town is Brook Hill. Yeah, all these towns have names. I don't know why, because they're all just very generic. We've got Firewood Village, Turtle Village, Southwood, now Brook Hill.
Southwood, yeah, classic Southwood.
Brook Hill has the compass, which is... Well, Sharif will be grabbing in a moment from that soldier right smack dab in the middle of town. But first is training. Gotta learn the new stuff. And this has maybe the coolest ability in the game. I love that the knights just walk up and won't hit you if you won't approach them. It's...
Yeah, the Master Chief just walks up and just whips, and that's it.
So tackle lets you run and attack, and it's really cool. There's a few places it's required to get past. This guy has a compass. And without the compass, if you clear the next dungeon, it just spits you back out where you started, and it is very, very unpleasant.
It's actually where I quit the game as a kid. I'm just gonna take this death.
It'll be faster than going to the end.
I didn't have enough bases to get to maybe it did. Nah, it's fine. It's okay. Joke's on y'all. I've already changed the batteries out of my Game Gear twice in this run.
It is worth mentioning, just because this is like a nice, colorful game. The color palette on the Game Gear is bigger than on the Genesis. It can display less colors on screen at once, but it has a bigger color palette by a significant amount. Just want to make sure to spread the good word of the Game Gear while we're all here.
Long live the Game Gear, absolutely. Also, yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. Long live the Game Gear.
So here's the
This
forest.
place sucks.
This one is just, it's mean. I hate this area. It's so, everything's dropping in on you and coming from weird angles, and it's got the marching stone statue guys that can do 2 damage and just attack relentlessly. But Sharif is in here making this look absolutely easy.
Yeah, you saw what tackle does. You saw me run and then like shoulder check that bad boy. And that's the only enemy in the game that does a full bar of damage? Is there any other enemy in the game that does a full bar of damage?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. Ooh, nice.
That was some good bad RNG.
Yeah, so we want to be really low health when you get to this tree and grab a piece of fruit. Because as we're going to find out in a few minutes, eagles love fruit.
Eagles love fruit. This is a well-known thing, right? It's just like a nebulous amount of fruit. What is this? This is some very strange RNG.
Yeah, it's nice that you're
Do it again.
so much right here.
There we go. So yeah, this is another routed-in death world.
Yeah.
All you do is you lose all your bases, and then you go back to the town you were in. But we want to go back to the town we were in, so...
I'm a lot worse at the forest, so it's a lot easier for me to use that death ward, because I've usually got nothing left when I get there.
That was unusually smooth, is what I'll say. That was too smooth.
One of the things that really is a big deal with running this game is balancing the when should I take a hit and when should I not. Because some of the fights take so long that it's like, well, I could just take a hit and it's over instantly. But then I have to go through this dungeon. I'm going to be very sad.
Yeah, and you have to be like confident in your abilities, which is not something I'm terribly familiar with. I usually try to gauge. I usually will take hits against enemies that will take like 4 or more hits to kill, basically. So early game, that's going to be the skeleton, and then in late game, that's going to be mostly just the Neonites, and then later also the Death Adders, if I have enough health.
Yeah, the Death Adders, it's worth noting when you first encounter them, because that's going to be coming up after
Fairly soon.
the next dungeon after this one. The Death Adders instantly kill you until you get a certain item, and that's why 100% is the best. So Axe Battler has some fruit, holds it up in the air, an eagle grabs him, and where do eagles take you? They take you, as you will see in a minute, onto the wooden structures on the back of giant eagles.
To a different large eagle. That's my favorite.
It can't be the same eagle, right? Like, I've wondered about that.
I don't know. It's definitely a different one in my head. We're doing the pacifist route here over all the skeleton.
It's so much faster. And there's these little chicken legs, and we're just gonna tackle them all away.
They're fearsome. They're fearsome. You don't want to mess with those guys. All right, so now we can get Death Adders, which is awful.
Yep.
This is the final area of the game. So we're here's the Neonite. Yeah, let's just take a hit.
Yeah, the nice/bad thing about this is it doesn't really matter how much health you have, because if you encounter a Death Adder and it goes wrong, if you have full health,
you're dead.
It's the same.
No dadder, no dadder, no
Oh,
dadder.
that's a dadder.
Say hi to the dadders, everybody.
Yeah, these.
All right, so that's the perfect strat for that.
It's worth noting for people familiar with Golden Axe. In the Japanese version, they're not named Death Adder or Dadder. They're Death Adder Junior, which
Yeah, it's not
implies
just a Death
that
Adder. We're not just bodying the Death Adder over and over again.
theoretically Death Adders just had a lot of kids and they're roaming around this area, but not in town. They're not welcome there.
I have to kill another Dadder in here.
But this one, you get the coolest looking and most useless attack in the whole game.
Yes. So we're at the town that any percent skips. So we skip this attack, which this guy gives you a whole spiel about attack you'll never, ever, ever use. It's Link's down stab. That's all it is. I appreciate all the people in chat who recognize the Zelda 2. Like, there's a lot of Zelda 2 stuff in here for sure.
Mm-hmm. Though the downstab attack is also in the Golden Axe arcade game.
Yes, it is. It is also in the Golden Axe arcade game, but I like calling it Link's down stab. But you're absolutely right. Oh no. I'm changing my strat. I'm changing my strat. No. Why? I don't know why I panicked there. It doesn't matter. We're just going back to the town anyway, so it's fine.
So yeah, those Neo skeletons, which are hot pink. Everyone loves a hot pink skeleton.
Absolutely.
They do the downstab attack that Sharif is very unlikely to ever use. But the downstab, as cool as it looks, is just so awkward to hit enemies with. And while they're coming down on you, there is a good couple frames where their hitbox is exposed and you can just chop them out of the air, and it's absolutely absurd. So there's
I'll try to show off the downstab at some point, just as we can.
There is an old guy in town who mentions that he has lost his magic stone. And instead of bringing it back to him, you go fish it out of the middle of nowhere. And it now suddenly, for whatever reason, makes you immune to dadders one-hitting you.
There you go. I want to also shout out Brosendra in chat, who definitely has a hot pink skeleton inside him, for sure. I just needed people to know that. That's it. That's the whole thing.
So this one, there's 2 dungeons, one in the middle of this overworld segment, and then the last one is the final castle, and it ends straight away after that.
That's it.
The first one is the Ice Cliffs, which has
Best music in the game.
Hands down best music in the game. Also has bottomless pits, so for the first time there are places you can just fall and you're done. Honestly, the part that it's easiest to fall is not the bottomless pits. It's right at the very, very, very end.
Oh gosh, that's a huge pain. That's a fun way. I've lost runs that way, and it's just it's so demoralizing. But if it happens, then we get to see the moonwalking pikemen. So it's okay.
So encounter rate's pretty high in this area. I honestly feel like it's a little lower when you walk on the path than when you walk off the path, but
my theory, I don't have any real way to verify this, but I think in terms of like encounter rate, I think the mountains have the worst encounter rate, and then the deserts, and then the plains in that order. In terms of most to least.
yeah,
16 data.
anyone who's good at doing math and debugging with these sorts of games, we would love some help figuring out what the heck's going on in the background so we can have a good excuse to play the game more and better. So that avalanche there, even once it's past the platform, if you jump back on it too fast, the platform is still intangible and you'll just drop.
Flashing lights!
Yep.
I'm sorry. I apologize. There we go. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
Yep, no, that's important to warn. You can do the downstab on these snakes, but it's really awkward and that makes the timing really strange for the jumps. And this close to the end, you just don't want to do that. So this should be the last notable flashing lights for the game, other than encounters, if I'm remembering correctly.
That is it. That's it. That's it in terms of magic charges. Yes, we're in the clear now, thankfully. And go.
Beautiful. Yeah, there's a whole section below with, again, unique enemies that if you don't wind up there, you never see.
That's right. The guys who spit out the fire.
Yep.
That's a cool one.
Yep, there's some real time and effort went into this game, and honestly, the game's really well put together. There's no giant skips. There's it runs smoothly. It does what it's supposed to. It's just a real cool, pretty game. So
I love this game. I love this game so much. It is a hellaciously bad casual playthrough, but I really like the speedrun a lot.
the speedrun is, encounter RNG aside, so consistent. Like, you know it's your fault, which can be painful, but is also like, well, you know, I can do better next time. It's satisfying to know you can improve, and it's not just gonna ruin you forever.
Time loss can be RNG, but you can only lose a run if it's your fault. It's execution. This is the final dungeon, by the way. So time is coming up fairly soon.
Yep, so this is the final castle. There's an entire 2-minute skip that was recently found in the final castle, which is a much better version of a skip I discovered a long time ago.
Years ago now.
Yeah.
We've both been running this game for like 3-4 years.
Jeez.
So.
And I never thought to try it anywhere else, which is just some absolute galaxy brain stuff. But I apologize, I can't remember the runner's name.
Odin Noah
found a much better place to use it. So there's a quick little segment here. This whole castle is just random warp mirrors and spikes coming out of every surface.
This is actually a nightmare to play normally.
Yeah.
A nightmare.
There is a segment after this where you have to ride on a cloud, but we're just going to go up through the floor instead.
All right.
The cloud,
if
you get knocked off, takes you back to the start of this castle, and it's horrifying.
So the enemies don't spawn.
Yeah, the enemies don't spawn up here when you skip it. And
that's time. We're done. Game's over. Where am I? There's no final boss, by the way, for the record. This is it. This is the final boss.
You get a black screen with Axe Battler. And that's it. It ends as it started, in pitch black with some conversation.
Oof. That was it. So yeah, so this is a fun little. I think we're probably a little bit under time. Do we know what the time was? I think we're under time.
It was 29:23.
And sub 30 is good. It's fine.
Yep.
Sub 30 was what I was hoping for. My PB is a 23, so didn't go great, but also RNG was so-so, execution was so-so. No axe, no golden. So there was a golden axe. The Death Adder Juniors were holding a golden axe. I don't know if y'all noticed that.
Well, and like somebody stole it, but you don't clearly get it back. You get called a chump here too.
You do. You get it. You're called an impudent chump, which is even better. And with the one swing, Axe Battler cut the darkness in two. Absolutely. Okay. I love this game. This is a game that's near and dear to my heart. It's one of the runs I've put the most work in. It's how I met Jay. and I'm just very thankful that I met a cool dude through this game, and I'm glad that we got to share this moment on GDQ.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me along to do commentary. Like it's exciting to be here, and it is always so much fun to watch you play this game. Like I said, it's a lot less stressful for me, but I get to still enjoy it, so it's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, and thanks for all your help when I originally started running this game. That was huge. Thanks for GDQ for letting me run this. Thanks for letting me escape out of the awful block. Thanks to everybody in chat for being good sports about the Game Gear. That was great. And yeah, thanks to the Kuzo community in general. This was in a Kuzo Grande match. I don't know how many years ago now, 6 years ago or something. And this was a lot of fun. I had a great time. You can find me on twitch.tv/sharfers. If that's too much to remember, just go to beef.fish. That is also one of my website. Jay also has a great stream, very very chill late night stream. jquestionmark. I recommend there as well.
Thank you.
But yeah, and the unique flying on an eagle sprite, which is great.
A lot of unique sprites that show up at very brief moments. Like the people who made this cared. You can tell from the music. The music's just so good all through.
This was made with love, and I can always appreciate that, no matter how hard the game is. So, thanks for having us, y'all, and have a great rest of the marathon. I'll be chilling in chat for sure.
That was fantastic, Sharif. Thank you so much. Let's keep the love going in chat for that amazing Axe Battler run featuring exactly one axe. You love to see it. We had some good love coming in from that from y'all, including a $20 donation from MVH, who says, late night weird GDQ is my favorite GDQ. Battle those axes and battle cancer. Thank you so much for that donation and for battling axes and for battling cancer, Sharif. Thank you again one more time. We are going to take a quick break. We will be right back with more AGDQ 2023. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 online, powered by Twitch. I am THEKyleThomas, hanging out with y'all for one more game here coming up. We've got Cyberhook here in just a little bit. But, I've got so much speed running going on. I wanted to get a little speed run in here because I've got a whole bunch of $25 donations that don't have any comments, and I just want to see how many I can get in one breath. So here we go. We've got $25 from Hypnotoad, $25, Ketsu, $25, Anonymous, $25, Diz, $25, Cosmo, $25, Zamrak, $25, Anonymous, $25, Ferg, $25, Crescent, $25, Shy Guy LP, $25, Mechalink, $25, Moe, $25, Koi, $25, Anonymous, $25, Anonymous, $25, and L-Easy Moto, $25. Thank you all so much for all of those $25 donations.